I'm off to pay the ticket, the wonderful ticket of car. That's not as happy as it sounded. Okay. So, we're trying this again, take 2. So apparently this morning when I recorded, I normally zoom in all the way digitally to make sure I have my focus set. Unfortunately for me, I did not rezoom, or I did not turn off the zoom. And so the whole entire recording, you were staring either at the corner of my eyeglasses or my nostril hair. And as much as I'm sure my audience is dying to see my nostril hair, in my better judgment, I decided probably ought not use that one. So, here I am trying this again. Now, just to kind of give you an update on my situation. Well, if you saw the previous video to this one, you're going to know that, well, we had to give up the Cavalier, which means that once school starts again for my children, I'm basically going to be chauffeured around, which means I won't be recording random thoughts from a car unless I happen to have the car all to myself. And so that's kind of unfortunate. But in its place, I am going to try to record more from the studio. So hopefully that'll all even balance itself out. So I don't plan to make any less content. We'll just be in a different location, that's all. So I guess I'll be doing random thoughts from a studio. That's the name of the game. I'm still bitter over having to lose the Cavalier in such a way. I would have much preferred to sell that car as a running vehicle, because it wouldn't have taken much to get it running again, in my opinion. But such is life. And you know what? What else can you do when your hand is forced? But nevertheless, in a few months, we'll have enough saved for a new vehicle. And when that happens, I'll update my title sequence as I usher in a new era. Of course, depending on what vehicle we get, it may be the wife driving it. In which case, I would start driving this full time, like I have been doing the last couple months. But that's the way it is. So I'm also trying new settings on my camera. I'm recording this at 4K, but this time on economy, so it's at a lower bit rate. But also not using log. And so hopefully the amount of work that my phone's hardware has to do is a lot less. So hopefully in the evenings when I tend to have most of my phone overheating issues, that's not going to be such a problem. And then in other news, I have permanently fixed the caps lock key issue with my Apple IIe. Now, for a long while, the caps lock key was such that if it got pressed down, it would be stuck in the down position. And since the key nub itself had worn off, you couldn't really grip onto it easy with your fingers. So you had to have the key off, and then you had to grip on that little plus tab that goes inside the keycap. You had to grab onto that with a pair of pliers to pull it back up into the regular off position. Now, unfortunately, my kids, when they're in the basement, love to mess with that old computer. And normally I don't mind, but when they press the keycaps down, it's been a pain in the butt to get it unstuck. And so, I've taken an epoxy sealant type thingy, and hopefully that will now have it stuck permanently in the off position. You know what? For most Apple II owners, it probably wouldn't make that much of a difference, because most Apple II owners these days are either doing basic programming, or more likely than not, they're playing old-fashioned games. And many old software titles on the Apple II required the caps lock key to be pressed down anyway. But that's not me. I actually use this in a creative capacity. I use it as the machine that I like to do most of my writing on. And since no one wants to read a novel in all caps, at least I don't think anyone does, anytime the caps lock would get stuck, it would be a huge problem for me to have to deal with. Until today. Hopefully. After that whole thing sets, I'm gonna see if my little hack works. And hopefully the kids have left it alone so it didn't stick in the down position, because if that's the case, then I will probably retire that as a writing machine and then just have that available for the kids' use. To play games on or something like that. Which, that's not a bad use for that computer, as there was a ton of educational software written for it. Unfortunately, though, like some of the social studies and history stuff will be way out of date, being that most of those programs were written during the Cold War. Anywho. So hopefully that works. Unfortunately, I ended up spending most of the morning doing that instead of actual writing. But keeping my fingers crossed. If it doesn't work, or worse, if it's stuck in the down position, well, then that means eventually I'm going to have to replace the Apple II with another Apple II. At that point, I'll probably just replace it with an Apple IIc. Just since it'll take a lot less space up on the desk. Heck, I might do that anyway. The IIc is a much more stylish computer in my opinion anyhow. Oh man, this is so much nicer driving away from the sun. All right. So it's after hours. Oh wait. I think why is my car making weird noises? Oh yeah, you know what? I think I ended up turning whatever. Okay, so here I am going to pay my parking on my speeding ticket. I shall be back. Unless I get arrested. If I'm arrested, start the riots. The revolution starts now. If you like this video, please send me bail money, or like, comment, subscribe, and share if you're into that sort of thing.